The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace.
Hi, welcome everyone to the Friday morning group of A Course in Miracles, and welcome live streamers. We're happy to have you with us. And wow, today is the first day of the rest of my life. Now, today is the last day of the 40-day program, and I just love the message. This last message, I'm telling you, I was practically dancing on my hands. I'm not kidding you. After watching the video and the awesome time that Lisa and I had before she recorded it, and then after, it was just this amazing celebration. And when I finished watching the video for the 40th day, I was just sitting there. I was just so happy. I just wanted to just praise God because it was so much the best of the last message. It was just the best message, and it was based on my favorite course workbook lesson.
Amen, brother.
It's my license plate, ACIM 94. I am as God created me. It couldn't have been a better final workbook lesson for the 40-day in my mind. And that it says everything. And in that one phrase, Jesus says in the Course that holding that one phrase in our mind firmly is salvation. And that speaks so loud to me that I don't know. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lisa, for the expression of that lesson. It was perfect because it really says what all of us know to be the truth. That you are as God created you, that I am as God created me. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit this morning. And before we get started, would anyone like to open us in prayer? Open the meeting? Then I will. Okay, thank you, God. Thank you for this group, and thank you for the Course. Thank you for awakening, enlightenment in all traditions, and there are many. Our course, our path is the Course, and we're very thankful for you, Jesus, for bringing it the way you did, and now it has had time to enter into our minds, into our hearts, into our beingness, so that we actually do know the being as the truth of what we are. It's just really quite, I don't even want to use the word unbelievable, but because it is believable, but it is, we're here. This is where we are. We are as God created us. We know this. We know this with every fiber of our being, that we are whole, that we are what God is, that God created us as itself, as light, as love. Somehow, as in the human experience, we also get to experience these things called love and joy, peace. And we recognize that. And so we want to thank you, Father, for bringing our awakening experience where we wanted to wander off for a little bit, but you had a better plan, an answer to our delusion. And we know this. And we're thankful. Amen. So welcome everyone to the Friday morning group. We have a treat for you this morning in that Elaine has found this great friend named Louis. Actually, we all found
She didn't find him, I found him.
We all found Louis at the Weekend of Freedom retreat in New York City is where we met Louis. And so everyone, please give a warm welcome to Louis. I can't say his last name. Welcome.
It's Conselatore. It means mobster in Italian.
Conselatore. Welcome, Louis Conselatore.
Wow, what an honor to be here with you guys. Just loving it up, loving the course. You know, only love is real.
You're going to need to speak into this for them to hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
So then I won't move around too much. I'll stay right here. You know, I've been reading Never Forget to Laugh, Carol Howe's great book about her relationship with Bill Thetford. And you know, Bill was a troubled man, and in a lot of ways, a lot of insecurities, the relationship with Helen. And sometimes he didn't even realize the gifts he was bestowing on everybody, just with his being, just with his presence. You know, when they reminisce about him, they're always like, oh, I never felt more in my own presence than when Bill was around. He lets me be me. And you know, the people around him felt the great lesson was don't wait till you're like 100% in order to give. Because sometimes he felt if he couldn't be in his total 100% greatness, maybe he wouldn't share. But everyone around him was saying, you have so much to offer. I had an injury to my ears, so I haven't really played since the weekend retreat that we were on. You know, so to be here today, to be able to do this again, don't wait till you're 100% to give the world your love. You know, just you bring it that day in that moment. This moment is all we got. So what an honor. Nothing to run from, nothing to chase. Breathing the harmony, symphony filled with praise. If you look in love's mirror, you and I, song of the universe. We can make it a blessing instead of a curse. If you look in love's mirror, when you look in love's mirror, every end, just the beginning. So live your life with your heart up front, singing. We look in love's mirror. We look in love's mirror. Yeah. God is my source. I cannot see apart from Him. What am I, crazy, looking in all these mirrors, trying to find out where I am, who I am, what I am? I know where to look. Love's mirror reflects clearer. See as pure and nearer. permission. Open yourself to love's transmission. It loves me wrong. It loves me wrong. It loves me wrong. It loves me wrong. Want to get loves me wrong. It loves me wrong. It loves me just looking at me Love is real.
Wow. Wasn't that good? Holy moly. He can do that for hours. We've watched him. He's amazing. Yeah, very, very talented, and you can feel the message that comes through Louis. Thank you, Louis, for that. That was awesome. Yeah. So, we didn't know who was gonna get up first this morning, and I'm feeling that Lisa needs to come up first. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Lisa Nicole.
Good morning. Good morning. Is this on? Can you hear me? Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. I don't have a plan. I didn't have anything to say, but that was perfect, Louis. And that's the message. That's it. And the truth is, you are 100%. And you said, don't wait till you think you're 100%. And that's only the false self. Only the false self of you thinks, I have to wait till later when something happens and I'm different and then I'll show up. But the truth is, you are 100% now. And I loved when we met you, Louis, back in that retreat in New York. And he has a whole other lifetime. He was a lawyer, correct? And then he got this idea just like a year ago that he's going to pick up the guitar. Like he said, I've never picked up the guitar, but I just decided like I wanted to, and he did. And he just, I know, right? And so, but that's, to me, that's really what this entire journey is all about, is that you really allow yourself to listen to whatever's coming to you in this moment and go with it. Just don't wait. So, everyone here, I know everybody, everyone knows A Course in Miracles. Hi, live streamers. I want to thank everyone on our team for the last 40 days. It was amazing to me, and it was 40 days of full on. And Therese, you're awesome, behind the camera. And Linda Leland, awesome. And Judy Martin, who's out there. It really was 40 days of full on. And Lee Blythe, who's out there, I hope, watching in England. She transcribed every single one of the messages, and we worked very closely. And Bill, I love you. You just did all the videos. And for me, it really was my 40 days. And I was looking at the last 40 days that I did, and I was thinking about what that was like for me. And it was perfect for that moment. But I look at it now and I see it just feels very light and fluffy, and it was a whole different time. And you begin to see that that's what it's like when you look at the things you've done. Like you're always in a new experience right now. And I started to feel, okay, it's time for a new message. It's time for a new program. I don't want to keep just using that other one. And I realized that was Jesus saying, it's time for me to come into a new experience of trust and listening to him. And that's what this program was for me. It was a place of every single day not having a plan and trusting in that. And there was several of the days where I just thought, there's nothing coming. there's not, and there might not be a message, and yesterday was one of them. Like the 40, I just thought there's not going to be a 40-day message. Like I'm not, and it was probably 5 or 6 hours of trying to do a video, all morning, all yesterday morning. And it wasn't working. The lights weren't working. I wasn't working. Like it was, I would say one thing, I'm like, and I think I did 40 tries. I'm not kidding. And I kept feeling like, this isn't it, this isn't it. And I knew like Lisa, the person, was in the way. Like I knew it, but I couldn't seem to have an experience of getting out of the way, even though I was like intellectually saying, get out of the way. And then Bill had gone out to run a few errands and came home, and he brought home this container of soup. And now it's like 2 o'clock now, and Lee's in, England, 5 hours ahead, waiting to transcribe it. So already it's nighttime for her, and he has to do the video. But again, it was like, this is my 40 days. This is my space of trusting totally. And he came home with the soup, and it was like my attention went to the soup. I was like, oh, good, lunch. And I was totally and it was like I wasn't concerned anymore. And to me, that's the key, where it's, you just allow yourself to just put everything aside and your ideas of how you think it's going to unfold. And we just had this great lunch. I was thinking about it like this morning, how I just ate at light speed. I didn't even realize it. I just ate really fast, and he hadn't even taken one bite, I don't think. I ate a piece of toast, and I'm just like, I was done. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm going to go do the video now. It was like this moment. Remember? You're just sitting at the table. I just left him at the table, and he was going to film me. He was going to come upstairs and help me, because I just thought, I can't do this.
Well, the lighting wasn't working all morning either. The light kept being, and I told you at lunch, I said, the lighting is not the problem, it's the solution. All of that stuff was in the way of the message that's trying to come in through the mind, and the mind has to get out of the way.
Yep.
And as soon as the mind got out of the way, the message came, and I saw it, and I went, holy shit, this is so good.
And that's really what it is. And so I was really, I've been looking at that idea for, what'd you say? My light just came on. I saw that behind me. And so, to me, it's just been amazing to come into this place where we really can see that God is our source. And I wanted to just open it up for conversation this morning about that topic. So, do you believe that you are as God created you? I know we all say it. It's here, we say it. But what it says in A Course in Miracles, and Jesus uses this idea probably the most of all the ideas in the Course. He uses it in lesson 94, 110, 162, for 20 workbook lessons every single day from 201 to 220. And if you look at the 201 to 220s, he says it twice in each of them. He says he has you say it, I'm not a body, I am free, I am still as God created me. And then he's got the phrase, and then you say it again. So he's attempting to reinforce that idea in our minds. And then he puts it in the text, chapter 31, choose once again. And do you believe it? Yes. Irene?
Oh, I was just going to tell you something that happened to me this weekend, which was the same kind of thing. First, I want to say thank you. I loved 40 days. I loved it the first time. The first series was where I was at. The second series is where I'm at again, and we've done it along with your 365. And this is the second time we're doing the 365. And it's better this time for us. You know, David and I, that's our ritual in the morning. Anyway, when you were talking about not being able to trust, not get out of your own way, it's so what happens to writers all the time. I mean, I was at a writing workshop this weekend with some very established writers, some beginner writers, okay? And I'm working on my second book, and before I went, I said, if I'm not supposed to be doing this, will you just let me know, because I am so sick of banging my head against the flipping wall. I mean, I have so many days that are like what you described for the 40th, you know, like, is this it, is this not it, you know, and everything else takes precedent, like, I really need to vacuum that room now, you know, that's what's really important, because I can't stand being in the not knowing. It's hard to be in the not knowing. So anyway, so before I went, I made this plan that I'm going to go up there and just let me know and I'll do your will. I think there's a part of me that's looking for like a sign from CNN that says, yeah, knock it off, go play bingo, forget it, you know. You're always taking the hard road. That's what it felt like. So anyway, so I get there. There are 90 participants in the workshop, okay? And she divided us up in one of the exercises into groups of 4. So we're in this group of 4 out of 90. I don't know anybody in the room. And they're from all over the country, right? And so we did our little exercise. And then as we're sitting there, and we were starting to get to know each other a little bit, the young woman right across from me said, you know what? I have your book on hold. I mean, I'm waiting for my turn to read it at my library in Framingham, my first book. And I said, are you sure it's my book? You know, and she said, yeah, it's got the mirror on the front, and I like my mother, and I'm like, yeah, are you sure it's my book? You know, and I immediately got this download, like Holy Spirit was saying, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, just keep it up, right? As soon as I got that download, it was real confidence, it was great. My brain started to go, yeah, but is it really your book? You know, she's probably got it confused. Like, I wouldn't let it in. I kept fighting it, you know, and I watched myself fight it. I went upstairs and I got her a copy of the book and brought it down and said, here, you don't have to wait, and I signed it. She said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got to meet you. And I'm like, oh, you have no idea how it is to meet you. But I could just feel the struggle. It's so what Marianne Williamson says. We don't want to know the magnificence. We fight it. Like, I do know that I'm a child of God, but I'm so afraid of what that means and how much responsibility that must be. Anyway, love you.
Thank you.
Is it for people to come up?
It's whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So look at my face.
Oh my goodness.
Oh!
Oh.
What happened to you? I am not a body. I kept trying to tell myself that as I was on the ground, my face smashed in the granite steps, all along, blood pouring out of me. It's like, I'm a body. This is a body, and this is not good. This really hurts. And what I came to afterwards was the I am of me is not a body.
Yeah.
The human of me is a body.
Yeah.
And the body has to deal with issues. And it was good for me because that whole I'm not a body is like, it's hard. That's a hard one as you feel it every day. And I mean, I exercise, I feel my body. I eat, I feel my body. I don't eat, I feel my body. My body is constantly a part of this experience. But it's that human experience, and I'm here to have that. And I'm really grateful for the spiritual experience, not so much for this human experience, but, and you know, I'm really working on not going through, wow, wonder why that happened. But it happened, it just happened.
Yes.
And it's pretty rich.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful that I'm here, and I survived this. Yeah. Thanks.
My grateful too. glad this came up because to me this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks that everyone has is I'm not a body, the problem's not real, using the denial. But to me, you said it perfectly. Like who you really are is not the body. But to me, the way it is for me is that the problem or the body is only real to the extent that I pay attention to it. That's to me what it means. I mean, it's not real at any single instant, ever. But whenever something is happening to me, I say, am I paying attention to it? Where's my focus going? And to me, that's where, like, look at you, you're here. And you picked up the microphone, you had everyone look at you, you're expressing beautifully. So you begin to see there's nothing wrong with you. You see, but the mind will then go and say, but look at me, look at what, but you're not a victim. You see the difference? That's a beautiful demonstration. I was telling everyone on our team the other day about this video that I saw, and it was the most shockingly graphic video I've ever seen, and I watched the whole thing. It was like 5 minutes of this dog who had, his entire face had been eaten off by maggots, and he had crawled into a hole to die. And it said, you know, just be warned, this is a very graphic video, and I thought I'm going to watch it. And so they show the camera, and they find the dog in a hole, and he just doesn't have a face. And these animal rescue guys go into the hole and get him out. And the love of these guys, like getting him out of the hole, and they were thinking we need to put him to sleep because there's, look at him. But he said the spirit of the dog told us, let's give him a chance. And so they put the powder on to kill the maggots. They cleaned out, there was nothing there. They went up and the brain was gone. They thought the eyes were gone. And the dog, is the tails going? You know, just the love of that dog. And then they wrapped him in a gauze. And look at you. I love you, Bonnie. I know. Animal stories, right? So they wrapped the face in a gauze, and 5 days later, the left eye came back. So his eye's back. You can see the eye now. And after 3 months, his entire face grew back. The whole face is back. The right eye is closed from the skin growing over and stuff. But to me, that's not a body. That's it. Like this, when you look at the video, the dog's fine. The spirit of the dog, everyone's crying. But you know, it's really this incredible experience when you can really identify with what's true in you. That's what's true. Not the body. The body takes care of itself. That's all going to heal. And it's healing quickly. And I'm so grateful that you're here living this message like this. And you begin to see that it doesn't take your focus and your energy anymore. So what I want to do just before I hand over the mic, everybody's crying. Does anybody want to say anything about it? No. Yeah.
I just want to say that one of the things I think when I think of a body is that it's a messenger, a communicator to me about how I feel. And the Course says, how do I know whether it's God's voice or the ego voice that's speaking to me? So it seems to me that the part of me, the body of me that serves my spirit is the part that can tell me how I feel, including I'm scared or I'm hurt or this doesn't feel good, but also, my mind shifted and now I'm feeling some form of peace. So it's in the service of the spirit that the body is useful, but it's not who I am. It's a tool for how I stay in what I know to be true.
story of the dog is really extraordinary. Who knew that, you could grow an eye back after it's been eaten away? That's pretty phenomenal, but it is what's real, because life is eternal and it's always regenerating. Cells are regenerating, everything's always regenerating. And it's an incredible testament to what's really going on here, that we're not limited by the body. Yes, we occupy the body, but the spirit is whole, and it goes and it uses the body to regenerate itself, because life never ever stops. It's always a regenerative agent. So I include my body. I totally have learned to include it, and that's really been taken me to a different place from the concept of not being a body. The body is very, very needed here. But we're here to anchor the light here and bring it in and send it into the earth and raise consciousness and raise our vibration. That's what it's for. So as I accept myself as a body, I feel a lot more free. And that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, even for me, like, I know the course front and back. I've studied it. I've had these experience. I know myself, but it still requires a constant discipline. So even driving down here, I drove by myself today, and Bill took his car, and I suddenly saw myself thinking, I wonder how this group is going to go. I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know what's going to happen. And I caught myself thinking that. I said, what are you saying? I wonder what's going to happen. You show up. And it was like this instant shift of, I'm going to carry myself into that room as the light, and that's what's going to happen. That's the only thing that's going to happen. There's and that, to me, that's the entire work of really saying, okay, and then seeing, am I staying in that self? Am I being the self that God created? I love what you shared, and you too, Nancy, like, you're coming from a place now where you're acknowledging only the love that you are. It's all that there is. And then the body has its serial adventures. It doesn't matter. That's what Jesus calls them. And that's exactly, so now you're coming from a place where everything can be exactly as it is, but you're there present for it now. You're saying, okay. But I love it, because that's exactly the place I've come. Like, no matter what happens now, that just happened. Okay, that just happened, but I'm still here present for it. And Bill told me about this guy, Brent Haskell. I'd never heard of him before. I'd never really knew about any other Course in Miracles teachers. And he's this guy that heard a voice, which is very similar to Helen Schuckman and Bill Thetford's voice. And I think he published this book called, in 1997, called The Other Voice, and I've been just reading it, and beautiful. And he said, many people think they have an experience of peace. They are waiting to have the experience of the peace of God. How do you know it's the peace of God? And he said, the way you know it's the peace of God is that it's unshakable. That's how you know. Nothing can disturb it. No matter what happens, the joy cannot be taken away. And that's how you know you've entered into the peace of God. I saw some other hands up.
Maggie.
Maggie? First Maggie.
I want to chant.
No, Maggie first. Her hand was up first.
I want to speak to Rosemary. When Rosemary came in, I didn't notice that anything was wrong with her, because with Rosemary, I always see pure love and pure light. There is always pure love and pure light.
The beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. That's good. I had an interesting 2 weeks. So I wanted to share. I want to thank you so much for being able to share. So helpful. And you.
And you.
I know. That keeps me coming back. Not everybody sees me as you do, you know? They see me as having problems. But I don't. I can't convince people of that. They think I'm sick. I'm not. I'm not here to hurt anybody. But they get scared. My daughter, now that's a different story. She'll hurt me, you know, my feelings and physically but I signed up for an ascension class, you know. Let's ascend. Who doesn't want that? Right. I paid my money.
Nice.
$1,200, $1,500, that's up. But if you want it, put your money where your mouth is, or the value. I'm a values person. I know that by my destiny cards, you know, it's written in the cards, it's written in the stars. But, so I went to the class, I did good in the first part, and then the second part, I got my recalibration, and, I got the inspiration to go to the front of the class and help out. And anyway, I got escorted out. But I went to the coffee, and then the police came in and said, you know, she tried to talk to me nicely, but she ended up saying, you want to get in the emergency and go to the hospital. So I'm in the hospital. And I'm talking to the people, they're all nice. I'm inspired. I you know, it felt like a high vibration. I was carrying around a high vibration. Believing in, you know, anything. You know, I was just so excited, just with the people. So I'm in the hospital, then I have to go to another hospital, even the emergency people. You know, we were all having a great time. You know, and then I have to take my meds. Okay, I'll take my meds. And I'm in there for 8 days. And I had a great time in the hospital. I really, really did. It's a locked ward, and and the people there are wonderful. Even the patients. At first I had a hard time opening up, but then I did. It was the same way with this. It was the same thing with Unity. And then I had to go back and get my hearing aids. They didn't give me my batteries. And you got to the door and it's locked. I never saw that side of the door. When I went in, it was backwards, you know, on the hospital bed. And then when you go out, you don't see the front of the door. And then you go back there, it's locked. They got 2 doors to get in there. They're all closed. They're protecting the people. They would want to escape, you know. Some of them do drugs, or, you know, they're trying to detox.
Okay, but you're really going into a story right now. Yes. So I want to just ask for you. So you have an idea, like you're whole and perfect. So you have an idea that you're going to have an experience that's going to bring you into a different experience.
8 experiences.
A what?
Well, the paths, you know, they just add up sometimes.
Right, but this is it. This is the ascension.
Okay.
This is it.
I know, I didn't have to pay.
Okay, but I want you to hear this though, okay? Because this is what the Christ looks like. You're it.
Yeah, but I've always
No,
looked like
no,
this.
yeah, but, okay? I want everyone to see this. Because when you first got up here and took the microphone, you were talking about other people and they don't get you. That they don't see what you are, only Bill. Bill's
He got a prize.
Bill gets a prize. Okay. But this is your see, this is the thing. So when there's so many elements of this, I'm glad you came up here. Because,
Food for thought.
no, just stay with me, okay? Because this is it. I want each and every one of you to see that this is it. We are here as God created us, okay? This is it. Can you access your holiness? You. Don't look to other people. Can you feel the light that you are? Can you know it?
A little bit shaking.
That's good.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Just close your eyes for a moment and just relax. Relax. Relax, relax, relax. Okay. Now, no, keep your eyes closed. Now, I want you to simply just focus on what you are as the light that you are. Just everyone join me. Just close your eyes. Keep them open. It doesn't matter. There's no technique. It's just, there's no technique. And the light is all that there is. And you don't have to do anything. This is the light that's shining. And I want you to just hold that one thought in your mind, I am as God created me. Just one thought alone is enough to remind you of the truth of what you are. Now you can open your eyes. This is it. This is what it looks like.
Are we having fun yet?
Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Are you having fun yet?
Yeah, I want to have fun.
Yeah. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Thank you so much. Because you see that, I was saying in the 40-day video, that saying, enlightenment. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It's not a big deal. It's a recognition of yourself in the middle of all of your busy doings and the light that you are. So, but what happens is that because of all of the ideas around the world, that it's supposed to look different. Somebody wrote a letter in, I posted this in the 40-day too. She wrote to me, she said, Lisa, in the day 39 video, you said, you can remember the holiness that you are. And she said, when she heard me say that, she realized, oh, I can remember my holiness the same way that I can remember my birthday. She said, I thought it was going to be some earth-shattering thing. But it's not an earth-shattering thing. You just remember the light that you are, and that's all that there is. And for me, it is a new experience. This is why I love A Course in Miracles, because it gives us the groundwork to really live in this way, where you begin to see you're on solid ground. You have a guide. And in the beginning, you don't know how to live in this way. We've been so used to doing things on our own. And then you begin to have this real experience. What I love about seeing the messages in the Facebook group, those that are applying these instructions from Jesus are having an experience. Those who are accessing their holiness and seeing the holiness in the other and carrying this with them through the day, they're writing in these messages like, oh my God, I've had the course for 20 years. I did this one practice and I had a totally new experience. And then the other people that are waiting for the experience to come later, those are the ones that write in and say, I don't get it, and have the questions. So It's very simple. It's a very simple thing. I want to make sure I bring Bill up here. So is there any other questions or comments? You are the light of the world. Rosemary?
I'm just feeling very open.
Yes.
So vulnerable.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's wonderful. And Linda, I love you so much. I love your openness and your sharing.
See, that's the thing. I do too. I love everything about you. And you have
I'm scared of myself.
I know, but see, that's the problem. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
because you,
I know, well, it looks like people.
I know, but see, that's where you have to stop using these body's eyes. I adore you. I love you the way that you are.
Yeah, but you're only once a week.
No, but I'm not once a week.
Every day. But you get to be all the time. You can change your mind and be there always.
I have people like you smiling at me.
Linda, we love you
Yeah.
every day. We love you every day.
Yeah, right.
Every day.
I almost didn't make it yet.
I talked about you to Linda the other day when we were walking. We were just talking about the group, and I said, I just love the other Linda, the way she gets up and she shares and she's vibrant and she's got so much energy. Honey, you're a beautiful, beautiful being. You're a beautiful soul. Don't be afraid of yourself.
We were talking about you down at Vicky Poppy's house, me and Becky and Bonnie. And Becky was going, oh my God, I wish I could be like her. She's just like out there.
Not all the time, huh? Not last week I said.
Linda, take it. Linda.
Yeah, really.
Oh, Linda, I just want to say to you, you're a powerful demonstration to me, and I think to everyone, because
The people on live stream can't hear.
Oh. Thank you. Hi, Linda. You're a powerful demonstration to me and to everyone, because what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is huge. We're speaking true, heart to heart, soul to soul, because you are a light, a beautiful light. And no judgment. What comes out, you're saying, but this, but that. There's the resistance. And I thank you for that, because that comes up in me and everyone so immediate. It like jumps up. But this, we want to put up a block and not allow. So I want to thank you for that. You are a light and a love, beautiful being.
Yep.
So I just want to thank you for being very vulnerable and open. And I love you.
Thank you.
Well, without further ado then, I'm going to hand it to Bill Free.
Well, that was a really nice interaction, because this is a community. This is our family, and you're one of our family members that I absolutely adore. I just love you, and I love how playful you are, and how totally you're just so real, and I love you for that. Really, all of you. We're talking about Linda right now, but I just, Linda, you show up, man. You show up in such a big way. I've always admired that about you. So thank you. So, you know, this idea that I am as God created me, I want to go back to how important this is. And I know we talked about body identification. This particular idea, I am as God created me, the body is very helpful for us to watch and notice. Be very alert and be very aware that we're not that. We're aware of it. But in many of the sentences in the Course, the body is helpful for us, and I know we have human experiences. Some things hurt. The cool thing about the Course is not to say that there is no world. And I don't actually agree with the concept, well, there is no world. Well, Rosemary thinks there's a world right now, and there's a body called with her name on it. And when I had knee surgery, the knee hurt. But thankfully, we come to a place that's where the Course brings us to this place where we actually can recognize, we really can have the recognition that we're not this. And that's a real experience. Sometimes it takes a little while to get to that recognition, but it's like Lisa said a minute ago, enlightenment is not a big deal. Enlightenment is a recognition that I'm not this. I am not the person. And you can take that word body in the Course in most of the paragraphs that it's in, and you could replace it for person. You are not the person. You're not the conditioned self. But these things that happen, in the moment that they happen, it's like, what happened? I mean, I've had accidents. They didn't look like that. I've cut my thumb off before, and I've had.
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. When things happen, you're just in it. But as an awakened being, as an experience of awakened being, we have a gift now that's given to us from the Course and other traditions, other teachings, but we have a gift where it only takes a moment. It only takes an instant of recognition to remember that I am as God created me. I'm not the person, I'm the self. I am the self that's eternal. And that's not a concept. It's the one that's watching all of this. It's the one that sees the conversations that's going on in the mind. The one that sees that there's a pain that isn't the pain. It knows it's not the pain. That's the self. There's no commentary from the one that watches. And the one that watches is the eternalness of our being. And when we see from there, that's where we see the experience of nothing real can be threatened. Nothing real. The observer of everything. The one that watches without commentary, without a good or a bad. It just is. It watches everything without words. It's the journey beyond words. And the person identifies what we're not. So when we're watching the play of the person and the body and the experiences, that is always being watched. That is always being seen. And that is what we are. It's the silence where there's no words. That's eternally created by God. And that is what is being expressed. And when we have the experience of peace, all of a sudden, the human gets to experience God. When we have joy, the human gets to experience God's joy. And it's funny, Lisa and I have been having this conversation at home. When you are in the recognition of the person doing things, Bill's looks like the body named Bill is standing up here talking right now. Well, something sees that. Something is watching that. And these eyes and these ears, if you close your eyes and you close your ears, there's still consciousness, awareness that's having an experience that just is. And that's always going on. When we see thoughts, when we see pain, we're not the pain, we're not the thoughts, we're not the conversation, we're not the dialogue with the person to person when the mind is having this dialogue with itself. What should I do? I don't know what should I do. Should I do this? No, don't do that. That'll be this. And that's all being seen. All of that dialogue is being seen without any reference of good or bad, right or wrong, male or female. The senses aren't even involved in that. And when we see the conversation that's happening, when we're just still and we don't grab a hold of having an opinion about it or point of view, if we're just watching the experience of the person and we don't touch anything, we just watch it. We watch the mind have its play, we watch the person with the name have its play, we just watch it. And when we watch it, light is being poured onto the illusion. It's being poured, it's being brought into the presence of this light. And all of a sudden, the person is making a decision that's different. If it doesn't touch the conversation, all of a sudden, the choice leaves. We think we made a different decision when we made a decision that's, now I know what to do. When we think we make a decision, when we don't touch a thought and we just notice it with Christ vision, what happens is it moves the choice out of the picture. And we're just stepping into the harmony of God's will. And then the person steps forward and takes credit for the decision. That's what happens. It happens just like that. And that's why being present, it's not that you say, oh, there's no world. It's just that you be present in all of the activity of the person. Just be watching it. Don't be quick to speak. Don't be quick to make the illusion real, because then you're giving the illusion power instead of using the power of the self to dissolve the illusion so the clarity of God's voice can be the experience. And then, of course, the person will step in and take the credit for it. But that's okay. If you're aware of these things, you're now standing in the power of Christ. You're now standing in the power of I am as God created me. There is great power in not pretending like the body is not real, but knowing that it's giving you an experience so that you're watching, you're not that. And it's a very lofty kind of an idea. But once you grab a hold of that, you're having what the Course calls a direct experience with the Creator, with the Source. And that's why when you look at part 2 in the Course, starts with I am as God created me. Part 2, and if you read the introduction to that, part 2, it tells you that now we're going to go beyond words into a direct experience. So take advantage of being just the watcher. And the person will play, the person will do stupid things. Doesn't matter, because you're not the person. You are the self as God created you. So, does anyone have any questions about that? Everyone good? No, I think we're
Right
out of
now.
time. Goodbye, live streamers. We love you. We bless you. Thank you for coming. Let's take a break. Oh, Linda,
No,
Linda.
it's okay. I just wanted you to.
Peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in the peace of God shining in me now. The peace of God shining in me now.